So as you've heard by now, the Fed has raised the interest rate by 0.5%. This is the largest raise in the past 2 decades. What does this mean for you and your finances? Let's deep dive. The Fed rate is basically the base rate that the banks are borrowing money. This is the cost of money for the banks. So when the banks have to pay more to buy inventory, and money is their inventory, it is then going to cost everybody else more on every aspect of their life. This includes the rates we're paying for loans, and this includes the whole market sentiment, because as interest rates increase, the market usually decreases because of the additional burden that this higher interest rate will cause the economy. And as I mentioned previous weeks, interest rate and energy costs are baseline items. When energy goes up and interest rates go up, they raise the entire floor of the cost, the expense of everything. This will make an already sluggish economy even more sluggish. Our performance as a country is going to decrease, which is going to affect everybody across the board. There's many reasons why the Fed raises rates. This particular time, they're using it to decrease the amount of inflation that is going through our system. We already have a slow economy, and it's going to be slowing down even more. As I said in previous videos, I believe we're already in a recession, and this is going to make things more difficult on us as a society. When interest rates rise, it causes inflation to slow down, because when the cost of money increases, the cost of goods usually will come down because it will slow down the economy overall. The inflation cat is out of the bag, and to get it back in, it's going to be very difficult. Now, what you're going to see going forward is that they're going to try to raise interest rates again, and it's going to be very crippling to the economy. They're going to see it's going to be so bad that I believe they're going to be forced to lower interest rates after their second raise. I don't think they're going to be able to raise it more than, say, 1 point before they're going to start having to bring it back down because of the negative effects they'll have on the economy. What you're also going to hear is you're going to hear them say that, well, we have controlled inflation, and now inflation has not increased like previous years, because this year roughly they're stating it's about 8%. Next year they're going to say, well, oh, inflation is only, say, 4%, something around that range. The reality is inflation is a year-over-year number. So let's look at the math. How is that going to make a difference? So when you're looking at the math and you're going to show first year 100, the second year we had 8% inflation, so it's 108 is the basket of goods. On the following year after that, let's just say it's going to go up to 114, which is 6 points different. But even though it's 6 points different, based off of the basis of 100, the 114 divided by 108 doesn't show 6%. Even though it's 6% higher from the base number, the difference won't be 6%. So they're going to tell us it's, say, only 4%, even though it's going to be greater than that on our pocketbooks. So once they say that, and they're going to show as if they accomplished their goal, they will then give themselves the ability to not have to increase rates more and possibly even lower rates. This is an uncomfortable position for us all to be in, because no matter which way we go, there's going to be uncomfortable repercussions. So let's hope they make smart decisions. When you raise interest rates, it increases the cost of everything. So the expenses to a business is going to increase, which then is going to reduce profitability. We're already in a weak economy. So now you're causing more burden to a weak economy is going to be a significant effect to the bottom line of these companies, where they're going to have to make decisions that are going to cost jobs, that's going to cost production for our country's GDP. So that's really going to cause all these companies to suffer, and that causes the investments to go down in value. So with the Fed raising 0.5 point, the consumer rates for mortgage, credit cards, car loans, they're going to go up. It's going to cost you more. As you saw, right now, rates are 5.5 for a 30-year mortgage for a homeowner. That is a significant increase from December 2021. That's about 4 months ago, and the rate then was 3%. So we almost doubled the cost of housing. This is gonna be a big burden for consumers for affordability of their houses. And I think it's gonna cause even more issues for consumers looking to get into housing. So let's say we have a 65-year-old couple. They've owned their home for 20 years. Their home today is worth $800,000, but they purchased the home for $300,000, $200,000. They have, if they have a loan and they just did a refi in December or back during 2020, their rates are in the 2s and 3s. Their property taxes are lower. So if they sell today, they will then have to go find, say, a condo or a townhouse to move into. The price of those units are very high, plus the readjustment for property taxes and the new interest rate is going to be 5 or 6%. When you add up the factors, the payment of this condo or townhouse will be similar to keeping their existing home. So now this couple that could retire and downsize is going to choose not to, staying in the home and keeping the ability for that home to be used by a new growing family. So that is going to be a decision that many people are going to make, and it's going to keep the supply of homes on the market low. So until there is a proper, say, gap between a home and a condo and townhouse, and there's a proper gap between, say, interest rates, for them to make sense where, okay, I'm gonna downsize. The logic will be, all right, I will downsize. I'll sell my $800,000 house and I'll buy a $300,000 condo. I'll take $500,000 and I'll invest it. When it makes sense financially for the monthly payments, then more people will make that decision. But right now, when you raised interest rates and you doubled it, financially, it's a bad decision. So as I said previously, as interest rates go up, it causes additional burden to companies, which reduces their profitability. With the profitability going down, it's going to reduce the value of their company, which is going to cause the stock market to go down. Now we're going through an inflationary phase. So we're seeing probably inflation forces up, interest rates increasing is going to be a downward force. So now the expenses are going to go up, the profit's going to be reduced, as we have inflation pushing forward for anyone who is currently holding assets, their value is going to go up. So we're basically, they're trying to fight each other to hold it. What do I mean by that? I think that over, say, a period of time, we're going to be maybe at the same point of value for these companies. We're going to go up and down in the stock market, and there's going to be basically the same value. We're going to go sideways, but the nominal value, we're going to be down. So meaning, let's just say stock market's at $35,000. Fast forward to 5 years, we're probably still around $35,000, maybe $40,000 in the stock market. And this is just an example, but that money doesn't have the same purchasing power. So we're nominally down because of the inflation that happened. It's stagflation. It's a very bad position to be in because everything costs more, you get less for your money, and your purchasing power is reduced.
So should people still keep their money in their 401ks?
I don't keep any money in the papers market. Papers market, stock market, 401k, those. I would trade out my assets to tangible assets. Real estate, businesses, oil wells, something that is producing a product that is in need and that's actually going up with inflation. For example, we bought a bunch of properties in downtown St. Pete, our investment fund. Like, I knew inflation was going to happen. I knew downtown St. Pete's going to get a lot of business because of all the companies leaving New York. And it happened. Kathy Woods ended up moving down to downtown St. Pete. Another Fortune 500 company came down as well. Business is booming. Lots of growth, lots of money. For those that are prepared, they're going to do very well. For those that are not, they're going to suffer. So for those that are prepared, like we prepared, our investors prepared, we accumulated these assets and they went up significantly. We're planning to remodel all these assets. As time goes on, the cost of our remodel keeps going up. That's bad. That is inflation. That's higher interest rates. All those expenses is going to increase our cost. That's bad. But we're in a business that benefits from inflation. our property, if you're in a good area, your property is going to go up in value with inflation, and your rents are going to go up in value with inflation. So even though our costs went up, our income went up even more. So our spread is just the same, if not better. That is how you position yourself to be inflation resistant. So your portfolio is inflation resistant. You can actually benefit from inflation. And that's what's one of the nice things about being a real estate investor. If you get the proper loans and you manage your assets properly. The reality is basically doing the same thing that you have done that's brought you success. Every time you wanted to move forward in your life, you got the right people on your team. You got the right educators, teachers, coaches. You got the right partners. You bring together the right team that can help solve the problem. If your roof is leaking, you find the best roofer to fix your roof to make sure it never leaks again. With your finances, it's the same. You want to find a team that's going to help guide you. Either the right business partners that can help find you the business you're going to buy, or you're going to find the right real estate investors to help bring you the right deals. You want to partner with people that are similar minded to you, that you're going to function together as a team, because in this future that we're getting into, it is going to be very much about the team you construct. Do you have an ethical partner? Do you have the right people on your team that are going to be able to deal with all of these waves that are coming? I say the next 10 years is going to be called choppy waters. It is going to be very difficult while you're out there sailing through your finances. Something is going to come and try to knock you over. If you have the right team to keep everything steady and to hopefully benefit from all the problems coming, you're going to win. But if you try to do it on your own, it's going to be very difficult, because you're going in a market where your dollar's being devaluated, interest is going up, and most assets are not going to perform. You're going to have to be very specific on picking the right real estate, the right stocks, the right businesses to buy to win. So on your own, to try to figure that all out, it's hard for me to do. But with all of the people that I've added to my team, it's easy for us to do. So as long as you build the right team or join the right team, then you're going to do well. Because the biggest companies that we have today that we're using, and we're talking about Apple, Amazon, all of these very large companies that are dominant forces today, all came out of a recessionary period. So there's great opportunities that come from this period of time. And if you're with the right team, you can take advantage of it and you can buy in when other people can't buy in. So that is what I would say to do. Do what I'm doing. Join the right team, have the right advisors, and you'll be able to sail a lot smoother than everybody else. So I get it. I'm married, I have 4 kids, I have all these responsibilities in the community, helping out the church. We don't have all the hours in the day, and we don't need additional stress in our life to focus on things that are not important. We want to get back our time to spend with our spouse, with our children, with our community, with our friends and family, to enjoy life, because life is not promised. So many people that I've known have passed away these last few years that didn't get to do everything they wanted to do. And it bothers me that they lost these opportunities and that people in their lives lost such great relationships. There's reasons that I gave up more and more control of doing jobs. The reason I brought on the best people on my team is so I don't have to lose sleep, that we don't have to worry, that we know that the right people are in control, and that we can rest assured that they're going to do everything humanly possible to do the right thing. And that gives me peace of mind. It gives me the ability to spend more time with my kids and to have peace when I'm doing that with them as well. To not have something in the back of my mind to think, I'm going to worry about inflation on my portfolio or this or that or the other. And that's what I want to say to everybody else. And to find that peace is to build your team, build your community, to know that you can have other people to lean on. I know everyone now feels isolated, alone. I think what's going to solve a lot of problems is coming together That is what's going to fix our problem. That is how we're going to get through this next 10 years. The next 10 years will be very tough for some people. And for those of us that work as a community, we're going to get through it, we're going to thrive, and we're going to come out of this decade better. So I encourage you to find your team, find your community. And if you're not part of one, I invite you to our team. Together, we'll be stronger and we'll thrive over this next decade.